Andy, a representative of the Canadian government, said that your art is not original. You agree. Why do you agree? Because it's not original. You're just copying ordinary things? No. Why do you do that? Why not create something new because it's easier to do? Maybe it's a joke and you're just playing to the audience. Nets have to keep themselves busy. As you can see, Uncle Andy is on a real epsilon. I think if he had been told that it was Xi or Beta or another Greek letter, he wouldn't have been too upset. As long as I can remember the scene, something has been in fashion. Something has been out. I don't see anything wrong with that. It's a cycle of constantly recurring phenomena that goes on and on until someone wants to wear wide pants again. Recently, it seems that school children wore Esics. Now they wear Jordans or not. It's hard to keep track of fashion. Usually, everything fashionable goes through young people, because they are not averse to valiantly protesting it, filtering out everything shameful and unnecessary in any phenomenon. But, as Grandpa Sigmund used to say, smoking is a hidden desire to listen to hookah beats. And I used to think it was nonsense, but looking at the young people who now and then pull up various gadgets to their lips, I'm convinced once again that German men, let's say, with interesting views of the world, understood this idiom back then. Friedrich, when he wrote Berserker, comprehended many interesting themes. For example, the uselessness of armor as a metaphor. That external invincibility is nothing compared to a pumped-up character. I'm talking about the Venetian version of the book, If. But as always, young people take any criticism too much to heart. I don't think any writer defends his work as much as posers do. Who cares, guys? A book is not a diploma. You don't have to defend it. And a diploma is not a homeland. You realize that only those who don't care are able to judge life in a sensible way. You know, today it's a berserker. Tomorrow it's Boku no Pico. And only hentai relationships in general are developing faster than fashion among young people. That's cool. I thought that Christian Blue and Edward Norton would be an example for the conquest of today's youth. No, but I think it's great. The movies are really cool. And it's good that TikTok chose Fight Club out of the two most popular Norton movies. Although I think it would be disingenuous of them to promote American History X, given their right-wing and left-wing politics. Derek Winder fits the Sigma more than the previously mentioned two. After all, both Bateman and the narrator are Sigmas, people who are cool in their fantasy, reminiscent of that life situation where you imagine that your school is attacked by gangsters, and you save the hot English teacher. And she, of course, gives you an extended one. How exactly is this different from the two crazy peppers from the above films? Or is it also related to the romanticization of illness in young boys? Schizophrenia, polar diarrhea. I think a real Sigma would have realized a long time ago that there is no angry type in American Pie. So who is a truly strong person for me has always been this way. Strength is accompanied by acceptance of facts and rejection of fate, if fate, of course, does not suit you, which for me is weakness, denial of your own shortcomings, and of course, blaming the whole world for your failures. If a person really enjoys being fat, then there is no weakness in it. But if they are not satisfied with this, and instead of accepting the fact, they try to avoid answering and ask others for a favor, then people will lie to you, but it will not change your life. And it does not matter what complexes we are talking about. The point is the same. The poor, instead of getting rich, want others to unite them. This has always been the case. The cowardly hate the strong. Only truly free people can give up on everything and not prove it to anyone. In order to be a cool, self-sufficient dude, or at least not to arouse pity, people don't have to prove anything to anyone. You can build a spaceport trying to colonize people on another planet, raising huge amounts of money, gathering the best minds in one place. As Jacques Fresco used to say, okay. Jacques Fresco also said that he couldn't even prove to his mother that the Japanese are angry types and anime is top. By the way, you can check the channel. It's also strange for me to see people who are always jumping from one subculture to another. or constantly attributing themselves to some majority or minority. Mostly free people, on the contrary, renounce perlics and groups. And people who don't want to take responsibility for themselves live on fictional quests. You know, you don't have to be a religious person and be afraid of being cooked in a cauldron by mythical creatures, or just be an asshole and behave like a human being with understanding and mercy. You also don't have to have a certain hairstyle or wear certain clothes to listen to different genres of music or watch different kinds of movies. Be left. Be you right, east or north. Whatever side of the world or direction you call yourself. It won't change your world. It's all a sham. Why do you need to limit yourself and build a wall against yourself? Because by defending your limitations, you deprive yourself of omnipotence. Also, touching on the topic of a strong person, we could start with the fact that true strength lies in the ability to remain sensitive to other people's pain and suffering, and to understand that even a bull thrown by a trash can causes inconvenience to people. Every time we think about our actions and try to minimize harm to others, we will get closer to the cherished power. Also, truly cool people don't care if their opinion is not accepted or if they are wrong. You and a bunch of brunettes with a ping pong racket emblem are the only people who can see them, so don't worry. But to become a real lambda, you don't just have to pretend to be self-sufficient, you have to be self-sufficient. And a self-sufficient person doesn't take offense at people. You know that it's as useless as not fapping or collecting mana. Your friend won't appreciate it anyway. How can you be offended by people in a world where one person proves to another person that one dude kicks the ball better than the other, based on their wet fantasies, given that they have never even seen them in real life? If you stop for a moment and think about what is happening in our world, you will realize how absurd everything is. Those who have never made mistakes have never tried anything. So if you think you can do something better, try and fail, and that's much better than not trying. And yes, why do you need to cover yourself with newfangled words? Trying to impress others makes you a caricature of yourself, when you can just enjoy the beautiful meaninglessness. You've shit yourself. Now you can go to sleep.